Namaste everybody. It's time for another Australian School of Meditation and Yoga cooking class with myself, Gayatri. Today we're going to be doing a 1-bowl gourmet chocolate raspberry cake. I made this for the Yoga Day Festival, and I've made it on a number of occasions for our events, special events here. And I always get people asking me for the recipe. So here it is for all those people who want the recipe to that cake. You know which one it is. It's pretty good. So I've done a similar version of this before, just a plain one, but we're going to be adding raspberries, and I'll make the frosting as well, which is really good. So in here I've got 3 cups of plain flour. You could use half wholemeal if you like. I've got 6 tablespoons of cacao. You could use unsweetened cocoa, which is a little on the cheaper side. You could use carob. So any of those 3 are fine. And I've got 2 teaspoons of bicarb soda. So I'm going to sift these together now. This makes for a nice light cake, and this one is really like a sponge. It's very, very light and moist. And we're going to add 2 cups of sugar. I'm using raw, but you could use coconut sugar. You could probably use brown sugar. Any sort of sweetener I think would work. And we're going to mix that through really well. I forgot to add the salt, so I'm just going to pop that in now. Mix that well. I'm going to add the raspberries now. So I'm just using frozen raspberries, but you could use fresh. They're a little pricey at the moment though, being winter here. So I've got about 1.5 cups of raspberries. You just want that little bit of a burst as you bite into the cake. So we'll make the 3 wells. Make nice deep ones. And we're going to add the oil to 1 well. We're going to add the vinegar to the other well. And we're going to add the vanilla to the other well. It doesn't matter if they all sort of merge. And then we're going to pour 2 cups of water over the top. Fold in well without over mixing. So just mix as much as you need to get it well mixed, but you don't want to over mix, because that will make a rubbery cake. Okay, and we've got a well-oiled, I'm using the springform pan. I think it's about a 25 centimetre one. And we're going to pop the cake mix straight into that. And it's ready to go into the oven. A moderate oven for around about 40 minutes. So I'll be back once the cake is cooked. And it's happened again, no sound. I can't believe this. So I'm going to do another voiceover. So while the cake is cooking, we're going to be making the frosting. So in the bowl here, we have 3 cups of icing sugar. We've got 2 cups of cacao, unsweetened cocoa, or carob powder. And I'm going to sift that into the bowl just to make sure that there aren't any lumps. And use the back of a spoon just to squeeze any of the rest of the powder through. You don't want to just go dumping all those lumps back in, because that's why you've been sifting it, to get the lumps out. So use the back of a spoon and just scrape them through until all that, those dry ingredients, those powdered ingredients are sifted. Now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm using Nuttelex, so vegan butter, but you could use ordinary dairy butter if you like. Whoops. Okay, so now I'm going to get the handheld mixer and I'm going to blend that together really well. And I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla, or 2 caps, as my mum always told me. A cap is around about a teaspoon. And now I'm going to add milk. I've used soy milk here, but you could use any type of plant milk or dairy milk if you prefer. And just use a little bit at a time. There's no set amount because everybody likes their icing different. Some like it harder, firmer, and others like it softer and creamier. So just keep adding a little at a time until you get the consistency that you like. So here it's quite firm. It'd be fine to use like this if you like your icing firmer, and especially if you're going to go around the edge of the cake. But I'm going to go for a little bit more milk because I want to make it nice and soft and creamy. So I think we're done. This looks pretty good. This is about the right consistency for me. I'm just going to get a spatula and show you how I like it. So it's a bit soft, but I like oozy stuff. So, and once again, if you don't want it this soft, don't put as much milk, just less milk, and keep it firmer. I've got the cake out of the oven. I have put it in the freezer just to cool it down quickly so that I can ice it. So make sure it is really cold. If you ice a warm cake, the frosting will melt off. I've done it many times myself. So make sure it's really cool before you ice it. And there's a few problems with this cake, which we will discuss once I have taken it out of the pan. Alright, so what I did, because I was rushing off to do a yoga class, and I had a lot on this afternoon, I turned the oven on, and before I put the cake in, I didn't check the oven temperature, and it was way over 200 degrees. So you can see there's a crack all the way around. If your cakes crack on top, it's because the heat in the oven is too high. So just keep it lower and that should avoid cracks. We're going to ice the cake now. So we've got our nice creamy topping, creamy frosting, and we're just going to pop that on the top and smooth it around. So we're going to now decorate. I've got these beautiful big luscious strawberries. I've just cut them in half. I like to leave the green stems on them, or the leaves. It looks really nice on your cake. So we're just going to pop them all the way around the edge of the cake. Press them in a little bit because, as I said, this icing is quite soft, so they might slide off. So now we're adding some other toppings. I've already put some flaked almonds on there, which I roasted first, so they're nice and crispy. I'm just throwing a few cacao nibs on, and now some vegan choc chips. Of course, you could use carob, you could use raspberries instead of the strawberries, but raspberries are a little bit expensive at the moment here in Brisbane, so I've gone with the strawberries. You could use your creativity and put whatever you like on top of that cake. So here it is, the finished product. How beautiful does that look? I hope to see you next week. Namaste.